Hey, welcome to a new video. Animals come in all shapes and sizes, from the smallest insects to the largest mammals.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
We all know that both humans and animals can become excessively overweight. But Oshine, an orangutan, broke all records by becoming the fattest orangutan in Britain. Orangutans are only found in the rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra. Oshine was only 14 years old when she arrived at the Monkey World Monkey Rescue Center in Dorset. She weighed an incredible 220 pounds, or 100 kilograms, and was kept as a pet for about 12 years. At the rescue center, she ate processed foods and sweets, but she was eventually put on a fruit and vegetable diet, and she eventually lost 55 pounds. About 5 million to 15 million years ago, there lived a bird with sharp, jagged teeth and extremely long wings. It was called the Pelagornis, and had an incredible wingspan of 23 feet or 7 meters. But this was a long time ago, and unfortunately this bird is now extinct. Today, the largest bird in terms of wingspan belongs to the great albatross. This bird, also known as a goon, has wings that range from 8 to 11 feet or 2.5 to 3.5 meters long. The longest ever recorded wingspan was 12 feet or 3.7 meters. But unverified reports speak of two large albatrosses that had wingspans as much as over 16 feet. Their long wings allow them to hover in the air for hours without flapping. This allows them to circle around the Southern Ocean 3 times a year. Unfortunately, though, they are now on the endangered species list. Elephant seals are sea predators that belong to the large seal family. But did you know that they can also get very big? Take a look at Buffle. Buffle is a southern elephant seal that has an incredible weight of 1,200 kilograms. People managed to capture him on camera in Cape Town, where he was relaxing on the beach. Because it's rare to see such a large elephant seal, a large crowd of people came to see him up close. Buffle is more than 4.2 meters long. Contrary to popular belief, he's not just relaxing. But Buffle is said to be in the process of stripping his fur, so that he can get a new winter fur. During this time, elephant seals usually stay in one place. They don't swim, eat, or mate. According to experts, Buffle actually has no reason to be on this beach, because there are no other seals around. Also, he would consider people as big penguins. The brown pelican gets its name from the dark brown color of its neck and chestnut. It's one of the largest water birds, weighing about 3.6 kilograms with a wingspan of 2.4 meters. Who would have thought that this modern bird, common on the Atlantic and Pacific coasts, has descendants from the dinosaurs? Well, when you see what it looks like with that huge beak, somehow it really does look prehistoric. The truth is that brown pelicans have been around for 30 million years. His main feature is his throat pouch, which has more room than his belly. While his stomach can only hold about 4.5 liters of water, his throat pouch can hold up to 13.6 liters of water. And with that throat, he can swallow a 1.8 kilogram fish in one go. Odin was the largest walrus that ever lived in the Hamburg Zoo, and people from all over the world came to see him. Walrus are among the heaviest animals on Earth, and Odin was 3,704 pounds, and was living proof of that statement. Their secret for their impressive size is the thick layer of blubber they possess, which they use to stay warm in the cold Arctic waters. Odin often floated in his tank, lost in thought, captivating his audience with his size. Meet the fattest cat in the world, whose name is Liznia. Looking at the cat, you can hardly believe it's real, because her size is quite enormous. She has her own Instagram account where owners received fierce reactions, because viewers felt that she did not treat her cat well. However, the owners say that the cat's not overweight, and that she's only gained a few pounds due to hormones in her pregnancy. They also wrote on Instagram that they never intended to overfeed the cat. A giraffe is a gigantic animal that you may encounter at the zoo and on safaris. His long, slender neck and high legs are a sign of pride and royalty, and he certainly has the right to walk with pride, as he is the record holder for the tallest animal on land. A giraffe averages between 13 and 20 feet, or 4 and 6 meters tall. The length of their legs alone is greater than that of most humans. Textbooks say they are one of the few animals that have undergone significant evolution. Darwin's theory suggests that the lengthening of their necks comes from their need and desire to survive. Their length gave them a lot of advantages, as they had to travel miles of land in search of food. By the way, did you know that giraffes are almost always awake? In fact, they only need 30 minutes of sleep a day. This is because they have to be on the lookout for nearby predators. The Andes condor is a vulture that is one of the largest bird species in the world that can also fly. The bird you're looking at was once badly injured, its wings broken, and was starving. That was until the Wild Animal Care Foundation found him and nursed him back to health. This happened in northern Argentina, close to the Andes Mountains, where condor bird populations usually live. After 6 months of caring for this bird, the team was able to film its departure as it got ready to take flight again. The Andean condor can weigh from 7 to 14 kilograms, with a wingspan of as much as 3 meters. It's incredible to see such a large bird, and let's hope they don't go extinct, as it is a vulnerable species. It may surprise you, but not only domesticated animals can become fat. Albert, a polar bear living in Alaska, weighs 441 pounds, which is much more than he should, and locals even nicknamed him Fat Albert. However, he's become overweight due to the actions of humans. The people of the local town that Albert lives by carry large quantities of leftover whale blubber, and it seems that Albert kept eating it. It's clear that humans are responsible for his condition, because they should not have left so much whale blubber, as it causes the animals to stop looking for food on their own. I can see you thinking, giraffes are normally pretty gigantic already, so what's so special about this giraffe? This is Forrest, a 12-year-old giraffe who lives at the Australian Zoo in Queensland. Forrest is officially considered the tallest giraffe in the world. He's a whopping 5.6 meters tall. Let's compare a bit. A newborn giraffe is the same height as an adult human, about 1.8 meters. An average adult giraffe is about 4.5 meters tall, but as you can see, Forrest is much bigger. Apparently, it took a lot of effort to make this video footage. In fact, it took several months to film the entire shoot, and a special measuring pole had to be made so that the giraffe could be measured. Although he's called ox, the musk ox is not really an ox. He actually has a related bloodline with sheep and goats. For these reasons, experts found it necessary to classify the musk ox in its own genus, called Ovibos, which means sheepos in Latin. When the mating season approaches, the males spread a musky scent to attract the females, and that's how the animal got its name. Large-scale mortality during the Pleistocene era wiped out many large animals. Interestingly, musk oxes were one of the few large animals to survive, but the exact reason why and how they survived is still unknown. Herds of musk oxes once thrived in Canada, when the land was still covered in ice, about 20,000 years ago. But according to studies, they first inhabited Eurasia and only reached North America via a land bridge between the continents. Have you ever seen a huge wombat? A wombat is a marsupial that has the opening of the pouch to the back to prevent the young from getting buried while digging. This is Patrick, the largest and probably the oldest wombat in the world. He turned 29 in 2014, and you won't believe it, but he weighs 88 pounds, or 40 kilograms. Patrick lives in a wildlife park in southeastern Australia, and Julia Leonard, the park's curator, revealed that she has to use a wheelbarrow to help him walk. Photographs of Patrick in the arms of the park employees soon began to circulate, and it's not surprising that he became the most popular animal in the park. The hippo sometimes is portrayed as a gentle giant who loves to sunbathe. But in reality, hippos are not so gentle at all, and according to some scientists, are even more deadly than lions. They spend most of their time in the water. With an average weight of 3,300 pounds, or 1,500 kilograms, the hippo is one of the largest living land mammals. Before the year 1909, experts thought that hippos were related to pigs because they had similar teeth. But later, this was proven not to be the case. The closest living relatives of the hippo is a group that includes whales and dolphins. If you thought wolves were already big and a bit terrifying, get ready to meet the biggest wolf ever. The Mackenzie Valley wolf is something straight out of a fairy tale. You can find these gigantic beasts in western Canada and Alaska. Take a look at this gigantic wolf, and now imagine what an entire wolf pack of these giants would look like. These wolves grow to an average height of 81 to 91 centimeters, with a length of 1.5 to 2.2 meters. In 1939, a hunter caught one of the heaviest wolves ever that weighed a whopping 79 kilograms. Although the Guinness Book of Animal World Records claims there was once a Mackenzie Valley wolf that reached 104 kilograms. Their biting power is also incredibly strong, as they can bite through bones with ease. The Komodo dragon is famous for being known as the largest living lizard in the world. It belongs to the dragon family and is naturally found on only 4 Indonesian islands, including the island of Komodo, which it gets its name from. With a length of 3 meters and a hefty weight of about 70 kilograms, the Komodo dragon undoubtedly deserves the title of top predator. Not only because of its size, but also because of its poisonous bite. Its venom contains several toxic proteins that studies have shown to be anticoagulants. The Komodo's closest extinct ancestor must have been the 5-meter-long giant Megalania, a land lizard that went extinct about 40,000 years ago. Although the Komodo dragon's only found in Indonesia now, its first home was Australia 40 million years ago. This is Fetard, the heaviest bull in the world, weighing 1,950 kilograms. He appeared at the 2016 Paris International Agriculture Show, and he broke the previous record for the heaviest bull that weighed 4,300 pounds, or 1,922 kilograms. As you can see, the animal is extremely large, and it's probably a bit scary to even stand near it. At the time, he was only 5 years old, and who knows, maybe his weight is even bigger today. Since then, no one has surpassed his record. A professional shark diver from Brazil decided to explore the waters of Formosa River in Brazil. What he encountered was quite incredible. Out of nowhere, he suddenly found himself face to face with a huge snake about 7 meters long. A normal person will try to swim away as fast as possible, but this man decided to swim towards the animal and film it. As you can see, the huge snake is interested in the camera and isn't aggressive at all. It swims quietly back and forth, and according to the man, the snake probably just had its fill. Anacondas can hold their breath for about 10 minutes, so it's not surprising that the diver encountered the snake underwater. After pictures of Siberian tigers from the Siberian Tiger Park in China were uploaded on the internet, people were shocked to see how fat some of them can be. If you look at these photos, you will see that these big cats are clearly fatter than they should be, and some of them even look like fluffy balloons. Many people online said park staff had to do their best to make the tigers lose weight. However, the park explained the situation and said it's a normal thing for Siberian tigers to become overweight, especially during the winter. Among the animals in the wild, snakes are one of the most feared, and the green anaconda is at the top of this list because it's the largest snake in the world. They can reach a length of 20 to 30 feet, or 6 to 9 meters, and it could be that there might even be bigger ones roaming in the Amazon forest. This snake has an olive green body with black spots. They spend most of their time hunting in the water. Its eyes and nostrils on top of its head are particularly its hunting advantage. It hunts fish, pigs, caiman, and even jaguars, so it looks like this snake isn't afraid of anything. Imagine you're going with your dog for a walk in the park, and you see this angry swan hissing at you. In such a case, it's best to be careful, because swans can be quite mean and dangerous. In this video, we see probably the biggest swan ever captured on camera. Swans are known as one of nature's most beautiful animals. You can find them on both sides of the equator in the northern and southern hemispheres. Although they don't technically have teeth, their unique beaks have edges that look like teeth. These are the edges that help them catch and eat food. When a swan feels threatened, as you can see in the video, they exhibit aggressive behavior, such as hissing and flapping their powerful wings. How would you behave if you saw an angry swan? Let me know in the comments. As many know, dinosaurs once ruled the earth. When they became extinct, another reptile took their place, the titanoboa, the largest snake ever to crawl around the earth. It's said to be as long as a semi-trailer and as heavy as 2 adult polar bears. The monstrous animal would have been a terror today if it had not gone extinct some 60 million years ago. However, there are 2 living snakes that are thought to be descendants of this great titanoboa, the anaconda and the boa constrictor. Currently, the green anaconda is the largest snake in the world, measuring more than 8.8 meters in length and weighing more than 250 kilograms. Moreover, scientists thought that the titanoboa hunts in ambushes, just like anacondas. However, some studies claim that it behaves more like a boa constrictor, since it kills its prey by strangling it. Some people think that titanoboa-type snakes even still exist in the Amazon rainforest. Do you think so too? In 2002, some villagers on the island of Java in Indonesia had caught a huge snake. According to the local people, this snake would have been an incredible 15 meters long, weighing 450 kilograms. But when a news team came to measure the snake, it turned out to only be 7 meters long. Its food consists mostly of pigs, sheep, and monkeys. The python is said to have been the largest one kept in This python is said to have been one of the largest kept in captivity in the local zoo in the island of Java. But the same article also mentions that another snake was captured on Sulawesi Island in Indonesia in 1912. This one would have been as much as 10 meters, and this is the only photo I could find of it. Nevertheless, the snake that was discovered in 2002 is one of the largest snakes that could ever be measured and captured on camera. The next overweight animal we're going to talk about is Maybelle, a hanging belly pig from Boston weighing 198 pounds, or 90 kilograms. Her enormous weight is the result of a dog food diet her owners reportedly fed her. Maybelle was rescued when she was 1 year old, and according to her rescuers, she suffered from several pressure ulcers, and it was extremely difficult for her to see anything because her fat covered her eyes. She also had overgrown hooves, but the vet staff helped her lose much weight. The African forest elephant is the largest living land animal in the world. Males can weigh as much as up to 13,000 pounds, and females up to 6,500 pounds. He's also known as the African savanna elephant. He's also known as the African savanna elephant, and is one of the last 2 remaining African elephant species. The IUCN recently placed it on the endangered species list. The African forest elephant is also known for its huge ears that can grow up to 6 feet or 2 meters long, and 5 feet or 1.5 meters wide. According to some people, the shape of the elephant's ear resembles the African continent. During extremely hot weather, the ears can help reduce body heat by flapping them. Another remarkable feature of the African forest elephant is its long and very sensitive trunk. Its trunk is said to have about 80,000 muscles, with which it can easily lift a baby elephant. The African elephant also has the longest lifespan among mammals and can reach the age of up to 70 years. Like the ostrich and the emu, the cassowary is a flightless bird, large, long-legged, and wingless. But what sets it apart from the others is its prehistoric appearance, which people have labeled the dinosaur bird. The most notable is the southern cassowary, said to be the third largest and the second heaviest living bird. However, there's a bird-like dinosaur that is said to have been the ancestor of the cassowary. What makes his nickname, dinosaur bird, more appropriate are his claw-like legs and dinosaur-like skin. It's even been labeled the world's most dangerous bird, as one blow from its paw can cause a serious injury. I can see you thinking, can hedgehogs be overweight? And yes, they can. The heaviest hedgehog, whose name is Arbuckle, has a weight of 5.5 pounds, or 2.5 kilograms, which is 5 times the size of a normal hedgehog. In the picture, you can see how big he is, and according to the vets, overfeeding was the cause of this huge weight. Arbuckle could barely walk, so he was put on a strict diet to help him lose some pounds. The largest snake ever held in captivity is Medusa, a reticulated python owned by Full Moon Productions. In 2004, when it was still a baby, they had purchased a snake for a horror show called The Edge of Hell. These types of snakes normally grow between 3 and 6 meters long, so they were hoping Medusa would get to this length as well. However, Medusa grew a lot bigger, and on October 12, 2011, the snake was officially measured by the Guinness World Records, and turned out to be an incredible 7.67 meters long. If you want to see Medusa in real life, you have to travel to Kansas City in America. The snake's favorite meal is rabbits, deer, and boars, and it takes as many as 15 people to hold it. A fun fact is that the snake can purr like a cat and hiss when it's angry. Pancho the sea lion is probably the largest and heaviest sea animal you'll ever see. He lives in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And because of his large size, the animal was called the king of sea lions. He's extremely smart, as he gets food by approaching fishermen and asking them to feed him. This kind of behavior is probably the reason for his obesity, because no one's ever refused him food. The killer whale often causes confusion among people. After all, is it a whale or is it a shark? The killer whale is the largest member of the family of the oceanic dolphins. Although the killer whale has the word whale in its name, it's actually a dolphin. Killer whales are recognized by their black and white bodies and can reach a length of almost 32 feet or 10 meters. The two biggest top predators in our ocean are sharks and killer whales, but according to recent research, the killer whale would win over a shark. The killer whale mainly feeds on large marine animals, such as seals and squids, and even small whales. You can find killer whales in any ocean, but they like cold water around Antarctica the most. In October 2017, an article came out from the BBC stating that a giant python had been caught in the Batanganzo district. In October of 2017, an article came out from the BBC stating that a giant python had been caught in the Batanganzo district in the Indonesian island of Sumatra. A 47-year-old local man named Robert came across a snake on a road near the palm oil plantation. According to the story, he reportedly wrestled the snake for a while, and with the help of other villagers, they had been able to overpower it. For the local people who live here, it's normal to eat snakes, so just before the snake was fried and eaten, it was put on display. The giant python was measured and was said to have been an incredible 7.9 meters long. By the way, this was not the first time a huge snake had been seen. According to the man, there would be about 10 sightings a year. Here we have a huge raccoon whose name is Bandit and weighs 75 pounds. He's the heaviest raccoon ever recorded in history, and his love for junk food has caused this condition. Bandit's very smart, and every time he wants something tasty, he makes sure to find chips and fries in his owner's house. Another prehistoric group are the crocodilians. They're classified in the order Crocodilia, which includes crocodiles, alligators, caimans, and gavials. Crocodilians have been around since 95 million years ago, and it's interesting to note that they're considered the closest living relatives of birds. The gavial has the largest eggs of all, weighing about 160 grams each. The distinguishing feature of this Asian crocodile is its long, thin snout. The gavial snout is a dangerous weapon, consisting of 110 razor-sharp teeth. Its snout also makes it faster in the water because it offers less resistance. The gavial also has a special structure on the back of its eye that gives it amazing night vision. In April of 2016, a huge python was reportedly found at a construction site in Penang, a Malaysian island. The snake was found while something was being built, and according to the workers, it took half an hour to overpower the snake. As you can see, it took several people to hold the snake so that the photo could be taken. The python was said to have been an incredible 8 meters long, weighing 250 kilograms. Unfortunately, the snake was never officially measured by Guinness, and 3 days later it died after laying an egg. A snake can lay as many as 100 eggs, but it's not entirely clear if this was the cause of death. According to some scientists, it would not be possible, and probably had to do with stress or something like that. We all know that there are many dangerous fish lurking in the ocean, but you probably never heard of megamouth sharks that can weigh up to 1,653 pounds. You certainly won't encounter this shark at the beach, because they hide deep in the ocean and don't hunt large prey. They prefer to eat seaweed and plankton, which is truly incredible. The whale shark is a gigantic animal that also brings confusion to some people. Is it a whale or is it a shark? A whale shark is a shark that's known to be the largest fish in our oceans alive today. They can grow as much as up to 40 feet or 12 meters long, and although it's a shark, it feeds just like a whale. With their 300 rows of tiny teeth, they manage to filter plankton from the water. They're mostly found in tropical and warm waters around the world. Whale sharks are also known for their gentle and passive behavior. Snorkelers and divers are therefore always happy to see them, because these giant creatures swim happily along with them. When I was doing research, I found a Facebook video of a huge snake caught fairly recently in January of 2020. A retired employee of the local rescue service with some friends encountered a giant snake on the Malaysian island of Sarawak. According to the man, due to safety reasons, they had to wrestle with the snake because it was coming towards them. After an hour-long wrestling match, they finally managed to overpower the snake. The huge python would have had a length of 9 meters, with a weight of 350 kilograms. Because the snake was too heavy and too long, they left it in the forest. This is where many people disagreed, because pythons are a protected species in Sarawak, but anything else with the situation remains a mystery. Tumdi is a 100-year-old crocodile, and he's considered the biggest and fattest crocodile in the world. He lives in Bangladesh, and his hobby is eating. The reason he became this way is not because he's good at hunting, but because people decided to feed him by throwing goats and chickens into his pond. For years, people did this because they believed that feeding Tumdi will bring them good luck and money. Unfortunately, it didn't end well for the croc. Leatherback turtles are a vulnerable species of turtle that get their name from their unique shell, which consists of tough, rubbery skin that looks like leather. What makes it so leathery are the thousands of tiny bone plates that make up the shell. Typically, they're 1.8 to 2.2 meters long and weigh about 250 to 700 kilograms. The largest leatherback turtle ever recorded was an incredible 3 meters long, weighing 915 kilograms. It's no wonder that they're the largest sea turtle species in the world, but it is a wonder what their diet consists of, as they prefer to eat jellyfish, which they can easily swallow. Otis is the fattest bear in Katmai National Park in Alaska. Otis likes salmon very much, and it seems he eats them non-stop. Interestingly, Otis is extremely good at fishing, and he does not use much energy when hunting. He doesn't run and he doesn't sprint. Instead, he stays on the ground, waiting for fish to swim by. In September 2019, photos were posted online of a 9-meter-long python found in a forest in Indonesia. The images show the carcass of a giant python that couldn't survive the flames on the island of Borneo. The python is said to have been 20 meters in diameter. According to the man who had taken the photos, a python of this length could easily swallow a goat or even a cow. People who had seen the photos online couldn't believe such a large snake still lives in the forested area. But for the local villagers, there were frequent sightings of these kinds of giant snakes. Local people also call this snake the Tangaluk, which basically means king of the snakes. Bactrian camels get their name from their place of origin, an ancient region in Central Asia called Bactria. They belong to the family of camelids, the same family that includes other camels, llamas, and alpacas. Camelids have been around since 46 million years ago, and they largely inhabited North America, where they also evolved. What's striking about the Bactrian camel is that unlike its more popular predecessors, the Bactrian has 2 humps on its back. In ancient times, Bactrian camels played an important role in caravan journeys for the silk trade in the interior of Asia. This is because they were able to withstand extreme climate conditions. According to some studies, they're also very good swimmers with a well-developed sense of sight and smell. They can also go for months without water, but once they find a water source, they'll go down up to 57 liters at a time. Murakli, a Brahma chicken living on a farm in Colossal, is the largest chicken in the world, at almost 100 centimeters long and weighing 17 pounds. He's very large, and it's hard to believe that a chick could grow to this huge size. Although Brahma chicks are not the largest chickens in the world, this one has managed to grow almost as big as the Jersey Giant, the largest breed of chicken that has ever existed. This giant snake had been found in 2016 after a controlled explosion was carried out in a cave in Brazil. Construction workers were building the Belo Monte Dam that runs through the Amazon rainforest. The workers lifted the snake with a crane because it was simply just too heavy. According to measurements, the snake would have been an incredible 10 meters long, weighing up to 400 kilograms. It's unclear if the construction workers had killed the anaconda, but many people were outraged after seeing the footage on YouTube. The construction workers eventually revealed the snake to the public after tying it up. This snake might have been the last of its kind on Earth, and it could have easily surpassed the title of Medusa should it still be alive. The colossal squid is the largest species of squid found in the ocean today. As far as we know, it's one of the few giant species living in the deep sea. They are much larger than the normal squid found in shallower parts of the ocean. The largest squid they ever managed to catch was an incredible 1,091 pounds. It was caught in 2007 and displayed in a museum. But based on the giant body parts of the squid found in the stomachs of sperm whales, there may be a much larger colossal squid living in the deep ocean. Researchers estimate that giant squids of 33 feet or 10 meters long and 1,543 pounds must live there. It's also thought that the colossal squid was probably related to the kraken, the mythical creature that shipwrights had observed in the 1700s. Here is Darius, and he's the world's largest rabbit. He weighs 49 pounds and is a whopping 41 inches. Darius has the title of the biggest rabbit in his pocket for a while, but it seems, however, that this boy is going to get even bigger. Darius holds the title of the biggest rabbit for a while, but it seems that his own son is going to get even bigger. His son is only 6 months old and is already 39.7 inches, and the rabbit's owner thinks he'll eventually pass him in size. A few years ago, a photo went viral on the internet that looks like a dragon or a giant snake surrounded by hundreds of people. This photo was supposedly taken somewhere in Sichuan, China. Some people thought that this was a real snake hiding in the woods, but I have to disappoint ya. It's in fact a fake photo. However, there's another photo of a giant snake circulating on the internet that remains a big mystery to even this day. In 1959, when Belgian Air Force Colonel Remy van Leerd was flying over the Congo in his helicopter, he came across a giant snake that he estimated to be about 15 meters long. He grabbed his camera and took a picture, and since then, this has been a big mystery whether this was possibly the legendary giant snake Titanoboa. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Pigzilla is the nickname of a giant boar who was caught on camera digging in a garbage can in Hong Kong. Not surprisingly, this video went super viral on the internet. Unfortunately, we don't know how big he is. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly how big he is, but we can agree that he looks huge. However, Big Bill is officially the largest pig ever recorded, weighing 2,551 pounds. This aquatic animal is found only in the Yangtze River, which is in central China, and is often labeled a living fossil. A living fossil is a term used to describe living species that look virtually the same as their prehistoric ancestors. According to experts, the Chinese giant salamander is a descendant of a prehistoric animal that lived about 170 million years ago. The most amazing thing about the salamander is that it can make different kinds of sounds, such as barking, whining, hissing, and even imitate the crying of a child. During the day, they often hide behind rocks, but at night they like to swim in cold running water. According to scientists, the Titanoboa is the largest snake that has ever lived, and in 2002, fossils were found to prove it. In fact, archaeologists had discovered vertebrae in Colossal, a large coal mine in Colombia. These were thought to date from about 58 to 60 million years ago. To their great surprise, they later found another 3 skulls, allowing them to create a life-size 14.6-meter replica, which is now on display at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum in Washington. They also reportedly found fossils of huge turtles and crocodiles, which helps us tremendously with understanding how these animals lived in the past. According to several scientists, the Titanoboa might have been a lot bigger because the climate used to be a lot warmer and the CO2 levels were also 50% higher. This means that the animals used to be able to grow much bigger than they do today. Meet Uncle Fatty, a primate who has managed to become overweight by eating too much junk food. He's about 15 years old, and just because tourists gave him food that's not good for monkeys, he became obese. Normally, monkeys like him weigh no more than 22 pounds, but Fatty the monkey weighs an incredible 59.5 pounds. When talking about the largest living animal on land, in the air, and in the ocean, the Antarctic blue whale is often mentioned. It can reach incredible lengths of 98 feet or 30 meters. With a weight of about 200 tons. This is about the weight of 33 adult elephants. In addition, the blue whale's heart is as heavy as a car. Because of its gargantuan size, it eats thousands of pounds of krill every day. It's also not only the largest, but also the noisiest animal on Earth. It can make sounds of 188 decibels, which is much louder than any airplane jet engine. They can also make a low-frequency whistling sound to call out to other blue whales that are up to 1,000 miles away. Unfortunately, as a result of whaling, their numbers have been greatly reduced. The blue whale is therefore classified as critically endangered. Meet the real King Kong, or rather, King Kong hog, the largest boar ever captured. These photos were taken by Peter Maximov, a hunter from Russia. It was an ordinary day when he came across the biggest boar ever. When Peter got close, the boar tried to flee, but he enlisted the help of a local forester to finally catch the gigantic animal. The two of them managed to find the animal again, and then they decided to measure the animal and take pictures of it. The boar reportedly weighed a whopping 534 kilograms and was 1.6 meters long. What would you do if you encountered such a large creature in the forest? I would probably just run away. The first thing you might ask about the white rhino is, why is it called white? It looks gray. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the name comes from the West Germanic word white, which means broad, and referred to the rhino's incredible wide mouth. The white rhino is an African rhino described as the largest living rhino today, weighing over 3,500 kilograms. They're thought to have roamed the earth for over 60 million years. The white rhino is also notable for the shape of its lips, which is why it's sometimes called the square-lipped rhino. Currently, the white rhino population is in great danger, especially the northern white rhinos. In 2018, the world's last male northern white rhino, named Sudan, died, leaving the last two of his species, Fatu and Najin, who were both females. Percy Foswet was a famous archaeologist and explorer from the United Kingdom. He had commissioned a map of the Amazon in 1906. Percy was fascinated with the vast rainforest and wrote about an ancient civilization, as well as strange animals and even a giant anaconda. He estimated that the snake he had seen was an incredible 18 meters long. Percy wasn't known for being a liar, but experts say he might have overestimated how long the snake was. Other strange claims of his, such as a dog with two noses, were dismissed as fantasy at the time, but these stories eventually turned out to be true. So what do you think? Did Percy really see an 18-meter long snake, or do you think the story with the pictures are fake? Let me know in the comments. These lions from a Russian circus were forced to get fat and pose for the public, so he could make his owner some money. They were trained to stand on their hind legs, and after people saw this online, they became furious. The trainer of the circus was eventually accused of overfeeding the lions and using them to make money. At the top of the list, we have a siphonophore named Priadubia, a giant ocean animal that can reach a body length of over 164 feet or 50 meters. But what makes the siphonophore so unique is that it's actually very thin. This is because it's not a single organism, but an intricate giant colony. It's made up of tiny parts called zooids that depend on each other to survive. Each group of zooids plays a role to stay alive. In 2020, a giant siphonophore was captured on camera near a coastal reef in Ningaloo, on the west coast of Australia. When this animal sees food such as krill and crustaceans, it uses a bright blue bioluminescent light that attracts the prey. It then releases its tentacles with a poison sting that can cause paralysis. Divers should also be careful about this animal, because they can be tricky and are almost always transparent. Thanks to a Chinese museum, we know what the world's largest insect looks like. I can already see you thinking, is this a branch of a tree? Nope. This is an insect that can grow to be twice as long as your arm, and is known as the world's largest insect. The same museum was known for having the previous largest insect record discovered in China in 2014. But this stick insect you see here is much bigger and has a length of 64 centimeters. According to researchers, it's said to be only 8 months old. So that could mean it might get even bigger. In addition, they can also camouflage themselves with tree branches and even leaves. Apparently, you can also keep these insects as pets. Do you have a stick insect as a pet, or would you like one? Let me know in the comments. Sturgeon have been around since the late Cretaceous period. That's why they're called primitive fish. Like the Chinese salamander, the sturgeon has not changed much, and is still quite similar to its ancestors, which thrived during the early Jurassic period, about 175 to 200 million years ago. This prehistoric fish has 27 species, some of which are small, and others can reach up to 2 or 3.5 meters in length. You may have heard of caviar, a delicacy made from salted fish eggs. The fish eggs, or roe, used to make caviar actually come from sturgeons, and traditionally only the roe from wild sturgeons caught in the Caspian and Black Seas can be made into caviar. Unfortunately, it seems that the caviar industry has encouraged overfishing. As a result, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration had to declare the Atlantic sturgeon as endangered in 2012. Colonel Remy van Lierde served as a fighter pilot for the Belgian and British Air Forces during World War II. When he returned from a helicopter mission in the Congo in 1959, he encountered something remarkable. The Belgian pilot looked down and saw a giant snake. He told his co-pilot to circle around it so they could take some pictures. Remy claims that the snake was about 15 and 20 meters long. And as they flew lower and lower, the snake rose 3 meters up, which gave the impression that it wanted to attack the helicopter. You might think this story isn't true, but the photos he had taken were analyzed by several experts, and the conclusion was that the photos were authentic. In the original letter, you can read how they measured the snake, and they think it would have been possible that it was 61 meters long. This poor dog named Mercedes became extremely obese and couldn't even stand on its legs. A Mercedes-sized dog should weigh a maximum of 40 pounds, while Mercedes weighs a whopping 119 pounds. The dog caught the attention of a woman who decided to help him lose weight, and today Mercedes weighs 59.5 pounds. But the problem was that the dog had too much skin, which caused several sores that led to infections. Her owner raised $1,000 through private donations to help Mercedes. And she's now safe and healthy. And finally, we have the giant moose, also called the Alaskan moose, and as the name suggests, it inhabits parts of Alaska up to Yukon. The average male Alaskan moose has a height of almost 2 meters. His weight, an incredible 635 kilograms. The largest moose ever caught was a whopping 2.3 meters tall, weighing 819 kilograms. But these gigantic animals have also been caught on camera. The next person was driving around in his car and came across a gigantic moose. What it was doing there on the highway is unfortunately unknown, but it will probably live near the forest. The car driver even decided to stand next to it at one point, and he couldn't believe that such a large moose had existed. What's the biggest animal you've ever encountered? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.